let's talk about the awesome food we enjoyed on Carnival Magic.
Oh, there was so much.
Well, let's start. Okay, you got to start it. Tell us what you enjoyed. Let's start with breakfast. What did you really enjoy on Carnival Magic for breakfast? And what do you
Breakfast
recommend?
on the Magic, they have an omelet bar
Uh huh.
or an omelet station where they make omelets per your request of
Hmm.
what you want to
You
make.
tell them what ingredients you want.
Yep. They
Hmm.
also have either sometimes a grits bar or an oatmeal bar
Uh huh.
where you can put whatever toppings you want.
Hmm. So you're talking about in
Or
the buffet area.
yeah,
So and they've also got kind of the standard buffet items you can get: ham, bacon, sausage, all that good stuff.
yeah.
So a lot of great options there.
Then they have
Um,
a little pastry bar area where you can get pastries
well, that's
like
makes
croissants
sense.
and
Makes sense.
muffins and
But if I know you, and based on the what we have here, for example, for a breakfast plate from the buffet, you like your fruit.
oh yeah.
You like your fruit, and is that oatmeal or grits?
That
You
is,
got
I
brown
believe,
sugar, so
grits.
oh, okay. You have brown sugar with your grits? Huh.
Brown sugar and yeah,
Okay. I'm not
and
a grits person, so I wouldn't know.
there's, craisins there, so I
Crazy.
mixed it in.
Oh, dried cranberries.
Mhm.
Okay. So great breakfast item. So you can go to the buffet. Um, my go-to is gonna be Blue Iguana.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love to go there and get a breakfast burrito or huevos rancheros, and they have these little cornbread things, a little piece of cornbread you can see there that have cheese inside them. It's just very nice, slight crunch on the grill on the cornbread, and then the nice melty cheese in the middle. And of course, they'll make your burrito.
And
Doing
you
that.
can also
Mhm.
go to, like, one of the main dining rooms and have a
Mhm.
sit down with your family and order breakfast, but I kept forgetting.
You
So
kept forgetting to have breakfast? Oh, to go
well,
there.
no, yeah, to go to a main dining room and sit down and have it delivered.
Right. And I mentioned, the huevos rancheros that you can get at, Blue Iguana, and, it's just to give you an idea, it's like a kinda like an open-faced burrito. It's like a tostada with a fried egg on it, and there's one with an wrap on it, just to give you an example of some, different food you can get, no extra
Yeah, you
charge.
can get ranchos with
Huevos rancheros.
hueros.
I don't know about the werewolves, but, you can get huevos rancheros.
Yes.
Uh-huh. It's a good, Mexican,
Is it
uh
huevos rancheros or rancheros hueveros?
it's neither of those. It's
Oh,
huevos, which means eggs, rancheros.
huevo.
Yes. So
Yes.
anyway, that's been your Spanish lesson for the day. Let's move on to lunch because we got a lot of food to get through here.
Oh
That's just
yeah.
kind of a peek at breakfast. What about lunch?
Lunch, there's so many choices. You can go to Guy's Burger. You
Uh-huh.
can go to Seafood Shack. You
Uh-huh.
can go to Pig and Anchor.
Uh-huh.
You can
Take
get
an anchor barbecue.
right.
Yep.
You can get a sandwich at the deli made
Uh-huh.
just for
Like I
you.
got a turkey sandwich on pretzel roll, which
Right.
is really good. I got that actually the first day we were on board.
Yep.
And you
Or
mentioned you mentioned Guy's Burger Joint.
right.
I'll say one thing about that. It was a little strange. I ordered a ringer, which that's my go-to Guy's Burger, and it's basically a cheeseburger with an onion ring and barbecue sauce on. But the guy that made mine decided I needed donkey sauce on mine, so that's why you see the lighter colored sauce on there. I don't know why he did that. It was still good, but it was just like they seem to be doing things a little differently at Guy's Burger on the sailing we were on, but still very good.
And I had also did a Guy's Burger Plain Jane,
Hmm.
but I forgot to read the small print on the menu board,
Uh oh.
and you have to tell them if you don't want cheese.
Yep.
So the first time they gave it to me, I'm like, "Oh, I didn't ask for cheese," and they're like, "Oh, you need to tell us."
Cheese is the
it's in this.
default.
It's on the small print, so
Oh
you just
man,
gotta
so sneaky.
say plain Jane, no cheese, if
Sure.
you don't like cheese, like I do on my hamburgers.
Yeah, yeah. That's a
So
lot of cheese information.
yeah.
So, also other options for lunch. You can go to the buffet.
You can go to the buffet. They have an amazing salad bar
Hmm.
and um,
Hot food as well. I'm showing some
hot
hot food
food.
here, and
Mhm.
and,
You
and
can
I'll
get
show.
soup.
I don't know about soup, but here's an example of a plate from the buffet, and that's that. I think that was my plate. It had some salad and some rice and chicken and a quiche or a
Do they have fried
tart.
chicken? I miss the fried chicken.
I think it was baked chicken, but yeah. And then here's a plate. I think that was your plate. I think you got some. What do you call that with the mozzarella on the tomato and some
Yeah.
what's I don't know what else you have there. Is that
It's fried shrimp.
fried shrimp? Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. So there's a lot of options at the buffet as well for lunch,
Mhm.
Marketplace Buffet. And you can also go to Blue Iguana. Go there
Oh.
and get burritos again, or you can get the tacos like I did.
Ooh, those
So
look good.
yeah, those are some good tacos. Those are chicken tacos.
Yep.
So a lot of great options for lunch. You mentioned Seafood Shack too, um, and Guy's Pig and Anchor Barbecue on Carnival Magic. It's out on the outer deck, and they it seemed like they were only open on sea days, like not when we had a port day. It seemed like they were closed for lunch, but when they were open, oh my gosh, huge line, huge
Yeah.
line. So
And
very
also
popular.
there was a sushi place, but the
Hmm.
sushi place was in a weird area, so
Yeah, a lot of good lunch options,
or you could
and
have done room service
you
for
could
lunch too.
always do room service, and you can order certain things. You can order right on your app on
Yeah.
the Carnival Hub app. Get you some wings or a pizza.
Oh, a
A lot of great
pizza.
stuff.
I had pizza one day for lunch.
Yeah,
It was so good.
we're gonna talk next about dinner.
Yes.
And if you know us,
So good.
you know that we love to spoil ourselves on
Yes.
cruises, and
Mhm.
we go and we typically have the specialty dining. And on Carnival Magic, a couple really good options are the Steakhouse, which is the
Yes.
Prime Steakhouse,
Fabulous.
and the Italian restaurant you mentioned earlier, Cucina del Capitano. Cucina
Right.
del Capitano, you start off with what?
The garlic bread.
Amazing
Oh,
garlic bread.
it was so good.
Yes, it is delicious, and I feel like it is not as big of a portion as they used to give, so I think they're
No.
cutting back, but it still is just as delicious
It's like a
and
one size
tasty.
portion,
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
say, unless you really just wanna have, like, a bite of they're like bite-sized rolls.
yeah, but it's like a pre-appetizer, so, if you wanted more, maybe you could ask for more. We didn't even
Oh, I'm
I don't
sure
think we
you
even finished what we had there because we were ordering appetizers too, so that
right.
was plenty, but it's very fresh out of the oven,
Oh,
nice and cheesy and garlicky,
fresh Parmesan
delicious.
cheese,
And
so
what do you
delicious.
usually like to order for an appetizer at Cucina del Capitano?
Gosh, I don't remember.
You usually order the antipasta.
Oh,
The
yeah, the
antipasta.
antipasta.
Yeah, and
So good.
the plate for antipasti has changed over time. This is what they served up on the recent cruise, and this is antipasti for one. So maybe not as much as they've given us in the past, but still delicious. We also order. I believe you ordered uh, Nana's. What's it called? Nana's meatball,
Meatball?
something like
Yeah,
that.
that
So and
was
it's just
good.
one big meatball and sauce
Oh,
with
yeah.
cheese. What'd you think of that?
I liked it. It was really good.
Those reviews. We ordered an appetizer that was called the house-made burrata, I believe is what it's called. I'm trying to look on the screen here. House-made burrata, and it was described as mozzarella, a kind of a stuffed mozzarella cheese. And this is what it ended up looking like. Here you can see I'm cutting into it, and inside it's basically just kind of runny, not quite cottage cheese. It was very, very different, and
Yep.
not quite what we expected. And I bring this up just to show you what we had, first of all, but also
Mhm.
to let you know that when the manager or the person came over and asked us, a very nice lady, I'm
Yeah.
guessing she was the manager, came over and asked us how everything was. We said everything's great except we just didn't care for this one thing on the table
They
because
took
she was.
that off
Yep,
right
she
away.
went and took it away, and she asked what she could get us to replace us, and we got those rice balls that we like,
Yeah,
those
they were so
deep
good.
fried rice balls. So
Mm-mm-mm.
so we'd recommend the rice balls over the burrata, but that's just our choice. See,
But
and
y
Wanda says the burrata is her favorite, so
oh,
it's
there you
it's
go.
depends on different tastes.
Yeah.
So there you have that, and yeah, so that was Cucina del Capitano. Of
Yep.
course, we got to mention the entrees. We had. I don't. Do you remember what you had for pastas?
I had a pasta dish.
Yeah, and I've got one example to show
Oh,
you.
I
This
had
is the
carbonara one night.
okay. This is the penne al ragu. And was I got this because it was kind of recommended on there as the captain's favorite from his home country and all this stuff. And it was okay. It's not. I think as a photo, it doesn't really come across as tasty as it was, but it was very thick and meaty sauce. Um, and I know that's probably not as much your speed, but I kind of liked it. That was pretty
Oh,
good. And you said you had what?
I know one night I had the carbonara.
Hmm.
That was really good.
I got to show at least one dessert. I don't know if I
Okay.
have a picture of your dessert, but my dessert was the apple tart. And we'll talk more about apple tarts in a minute because that also, maybe I'm not very exciting, but that's what I ordered at least one night at the steakhouse too. It's the apple tart, and
Oh,
they were different. So we'll do a comparison between the two in just a
I
minute. But
got
now,
my tiramisu for those of you
well,
who
tell them
wondered.
about the tiramisu. I don't have a picture of it for
Oh,
them, but you can describe it and tell them how you got it because tiramisu is not on their menu. At least it wasn't when we
it
sailed.
wasn't on the menu, but I I asked the waiter and he said, "No, we
We
don't
don't
have
have
it."
it. Nope.
And then the chef came by and he's like, "How is everything?" And I said, "Oh, it would have been perfect, but
You didn't
I
get your
wasn't able to order
tiramisu.
tiramisu, and I love tiramisu." And he's like, "I can make it for you, no problem."
Yeah, he said, just give me 5 minutes. And he
So
came and brought it. It was in like a little like a
in a
martini
martini
glass
glass,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't. I was going to show the photograph, but it doesn't photograph very well in a martini glass. It doesn't really give you the full effect. But you
It
liked
was
it, right?
so good. It was so
Yeah.
yummy.
And you went back the second night, and you're like much more confident when you said, "I would like to order off menu for my dessert. I would like the tiramisu. I think you can
Exactly.
probably do that." And we had the server that we mentioned. We mentioned before that we really enjoyed. Did a great job on our cruise, Julian,
So
and he
if you
got it for you.
don't ask,
Yep.
you don't know.
Yeah. Doesn't hurt to ask. So let's
Exactly.
move on to the steakhouse. Um,
Ooh, so
that was.
good.
It's not a Fahrenheit 555
Five, five,
on
five. Nope.
Carnival Magic. It is called Prime Steakhouse,
Oh.
and this was a really nice steakhouse. We enjoyed the time there. Let's talk about what we had for food. We started, of course. They bring out the bread,
Mm.
and what did you like? They also had breadsticks, which we don't have pictured here.
I had there was a flatbread that
Uh
was
huh.
really good, and I had like a parmesan kind of roll, flaky, buttery roll.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was really
I
good.
think that was probably your favorite. The flatbread's
Mhm.
good too, but that was good. And then, do you remember what you had for entrees? Or I'm sorry, for appetizers that you liked?
No.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of
I'm
times when we go to
sorry.
the steakhouse, you'll get the shrimp cocktail,
Oh, yeah?
and I think that's one of the appetizers that you got,
I did.
the shrimp cocktail,
Yes.
and it was really good. Maybe the shrimp weren't massively huge,
Mhm.
but we experienced, over the years going on Carnival, some kind of price. They're trying to save some money on food and maybe
Yep.
cut back down on food waste.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's still really good. And Wanda says, yeah, it's the free bottle of wine on the first night. And
Yep.
do you want to tell them what happened with your bottle of wine? She's not a big wine drinker, Wanda. So maybe if you had
So,
been at the table next to
I
us,
was thinking they were giving you a free glass of wine,
oh, it's a whole
and when
bottle.
they poured the wine into my glass, they gave me a really large pour.
Hmm.
So and I'm 4'11", and plus I don't drink a lot of wine.
Did you even finish the glass?
No.
Well, what
Well,
about the rest of the bottle?
so the rest of the bottle was like three-fourths full,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Dan, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this wine. I'm
Hmm.
having a hard enough time just trying to finish the glass." So I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna ask this couple to see if they'd like to have the rest of my wine." So I
They
did.
and they didn't hesitate.
And
She
they
was
were like,
happy to have it.
"Sure,
Yep.
we'll take your bottle of wine."
So back to appetizers. Another appetizer. Of course, you can get a salad, and this was the baby spinach and mushroom. And it's
Ooh,
hard to see the mushroom. It's like the mushrooms are actually under the lettuce, so it's hard to see. And then it's got the curled bread croutons. It was a good salad to start with, but I think my favorite appetizer was actually one that we both had on different nights: the stuffed mushrooms.
oh yeah,
They do a really good job with
they're
those.
so good.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's probably my favorite appetizer at the steakhouse.
Yep.
And
It comes with some sort of broth, but we never drink the broth.
yeah, and it's got like a little. I did try it one time, not on this voyage, but on a previous sailing. It's got like a little ball that's got I think it's supposed to be Parmesan flavored or something. I don't know, but it's floating around in the broth. And one time I was just curious and I tried it and didn't add a lot of flavor. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not refined enough to appreciate that, but I didn't get the whole deal with the broth. But that's one thing they'll do when you're on a cruise. And Carnival, it does it really well. And Carnival and the Steakhouse does it really well. Is they have these little touches they do. And one thing that was absent from the past experiences in the Carnival Steakhouse um, on this cruise for the first time, they didn't come around with the magical box of salts.
Oh,
Remember in the past, if you order a
yeah.
steak, they'd come over and they'd have a box with all these different colors of
Like
salt, like six different types.
truffle salt,
Yeah, or Himalayan
Himalayan
salt.
salt.
Yeah, smoked salt is
Oh, yeah.
it's like, which salt do you want us to use? So I don't know if they discontinued that or they just weren't doing that on that sailing or they missed it for our
Yeah.
meals at the steakhouse. But the steaks we had nonetheless were really good.
Mhm,
We got one night I got the ribeye
mhm.
and the cut maybe wasn't the best. You can probably see from the photo here that the tail end of it has a lot of fat. Fat is good in a steak because it adds flavor, but too much fat is not maybe something you want to have. But the parts of it that were not fatty were very flavorful and very good.
I got the first night the filet mignon.
You like to get the filet,
Yep,
and what did you
very
think of the filet?
delicious. It's it was cooked perfectly. It was
Yep,
so good.
yep.
Mm-mm-mm.
Can't go wrong with the filet.
Yep.
And another night, I got the cowboy steak. Again, maybe not the best cut. There was a lot of gristle in this one. And I mentioned on a previous video that I told our server asked how everything was, and I said because she looked at the plate and saw that I was eating didn't hadn't eaten half of the steak, and I said, "Oh, there's a lot of gristle." And she just smiled and walked away. And it occurred to me that maybe if English isn't your first language, the word gristle isn't something that you learn as a translation.
Right.
So there was plenty of steak. I wouldn't have finished it anyway, but I guess I would probably order the ribeye if I'd gone there another time after that. You also got the surf and turf one night, right?
Yes, it was so good.
Yep. So with the surf and turf, you get a lobster tail,
You get a
and
lobster tail and filet mignon, my favorite.
what a combo!
My new favorite.
Now you can see there you got the side, you got the
The
you got the
stuffed
baked potato with all the
yep,
fixins,
all the fixings.
and then another night you got the just straight up lobster tail. And in that
Yeah.
case, you get two lobster tails, I guess.
Yeah, it was so good.
A
Oh,
lot of great food.
yeah, so
So
good.
let's see, what else did we want to talk about for the steakhouse? We got to talk about dessert, right?
Yes.
So, do you remember what we had for dessert?
I think one night I had the gelato. It was like
Mhm.
3, spoons of 3
Three,
different types
yeah,
of gelato. One was like mango,
uh-huh.
coffee,
Yeah. I think one was coffee.
and I wanna say strawberry?
You had one, yeah. It looked like it was kind of like a swirl, like a strawberry swirl or something like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And which one do you like the best? I thought you'd said you like the strawberry the best, but I may be
I like the
projecting.
mango.
The mango, of course, you like mango the best. What am I thinking?
I
You
was like,
love mango.
I love mango.
Like my husband doesn't know that. Okay, so let's go back. We got to talk about desserts. So I mentioned earlier that at Cucina del Capitano that I got the apple tart. So that's what the apple tart looked like at Cucina del Capitano, and it had like a caramel gelato. I think it was caramel gelato on top,
Yep.
which is a nice touch. And it had a pretty thick pastry shell. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And here is the apple tart that I got at the steakhouse. So, by
Ooh.
comparison, both had ice cream or both had a frozen topping. This one I think was regular ice cream instead of gelato, but I could be wrong.
Look at the caramel or the
Yeah, this one had it didn't have as much of the pastry. It was lighter, it was flakier. And I preferred this one. I don't know if you have an opinion looking at these
it
two, which
looks
you think looks better,
delicious.
but I
I
actually
would go
enjoyed
with
the
that one.
steakhouse one better. But
Yeah.
they were both good. I like my apple tarts, and I know one night you also got cheesecake at
Oh,
the
yeah.
steakhouse.
That was so amazing. It was
Yeah.
so good.
So we're curious to know, out of all these things that we tried, what you would most want to try. Put it in the comments below and let us know. We also would like to know if you've had anything else, if you've cruised on Carnival Magic or on a different carnival ship, what have you enjoyed most on your sailing?